Hello, ladies. I have a few moments today without a lot of commotion in my home, and I just wanted to say hello and do a little bit of explaining about why I admire the dress. And it all goes back to my first experience in learning to sew. And in those days, you could make what we called a shift in one day. It was basically two pieces, two pattern pieces and sleeves, and you could, with a few darts in it, make a cotton garment to wear the very next day. And it was so exciting because you could change your clothes very quickly according to season. And in those days, of course, it was not as easy to for some of us that lived way out in the country, we ordered a lot of our things out of catalogs, but it was interesting to buy fabric because it came in 4-yard pieces, and that was just right for a dress. Now, a dress is already matched. The skirt and the top is already matched and sewn together. And I quickly learned that when sewing, a dress is a lot easier and faster because you don't have to make a waistband. Now, you may have to make a zipper or you may have to make buttons, but in general, you're not doing two hems, the hem at the top of the blouse and the hem and the waistband. When you start adding pieces, which I could probably give you the history of when the two-piece and the separates began, was in order to apparently mix and match and sell more clothes, but it also made a very messy closet, whereas a dress, when it's hanging there, is already matched as one piece and you don't have to decide. You may have to decide on maybe the little sweater or bolero you're going to wear with it, but to me, a dress is just an absolute delight. I just love it. And dress also is you can have as many, if you sew, you can actually have as many as you want that suits the occasion, that suits the changes in weather, that suits the scenery. And you've seen me do this on my blog where I will make something to go with, and that's what I call my go with. There are several things that I do with dresses that you might want to make life a little bit more interesting. Now, there are some people that say there's vain to even care about what you wear. And I don't find any evidence for this at all. And especially if you're a homemaker, you might find yourself working alone, being a little bit more to yourself and having to be self-motivated. This is not easy. You don't work in a group when you're a homemaker. You're mostly by yourself unless you're working with your children or other people in your home. And so wearing a dress and choosing that and taking care of your appearance first thing is going to set your mood and decide on what your attitude is going to be that day. So I will look outside and think, oh, what kind of day is this? What color does it feel like for me? Not just, I don't want to, for instance, if it's a gloomy day, I don't exactly want to match that gloom. But what I want to do is enhance or complement in some way or show some kind of contrast. And so for a dark, gloomy day, I may wear red or I may wear roses because that's just what you need on a dark, gloomy day, isn't it? And so you can have a bouquet of roses on your dress and you're just looking at roses all day long. And there are those around that might make fun of this. There was a time back in the 80s when roses were on all the fabrics. Chintz was popular and being produced, and Laura Ashley was being reproduced and imitated by other companies. And there were lots of these beautiful prints, both the tiny little prints of calico flowers and the larger bold prints with roses on it. And I remember one day, as this era was being phased out by manufacturers and designers, I wore one of my homemade Laura Ashley dresses that had big cabbage roses all over it. And someone that I didn't know said to me, "Why don't you wear roses?" And I knew that it was sarcastic. So I thought to myself, I'm just going to go home and make more roses. Rose dresses with roses on them. I like them. And life is too short to be miserable. And why should we let other people dictate what we wear? And sometimes the things people say actually get inside of our minds and would make us so self-conscious that we're afraid to be pretty and we're afraid to wear something that makes us happy. Now, mood is part of the reason to dress well because it sets the tone for the day. Getting yourself ready and getting yourself dressed and feeling good sets the tone for the day. So the first thing you have to do, in my opinion, is put aside any idea of being self-conscious around other people. If this is for your home, then you can do what you want. Naturally, you will have to go out, maybe to the grocery store, but you don't have to let the mood of the era get into you so much that you're waiting for something to come in style so you can enjoy it. You can, at home, you can wear anything you want. And uh, the other thing is function. When I am going to have people over and I'm going to have a ladies' Bible class, I want to cheer them up. I want to do my best to make it go with what we're doing. So since we usually have tea, we have teacups, we have a teapot, and we have beautiful food, and usually those things have a lot of flowers on them. I will wear something that that goes with, and I call it my go with type of clothing. It's so much fun to sew and to go to the fabric store and pick out, for instance, fabric that has a print of daisies on it at the same time that a field blossoms in daisies. This this is so exciting to live like that. Or you see in the summer a blue sky with a people are flying their kites down on the beach. So you go to a fabric store and you buy something that has that beautiful aqua blue with little anchors on it or little kites on it or something like that, and celebrate the day and the season and the function and the occasion. And the other thing I wanted to say about dresses is, now, first of all, let me just tell you, you don't have to sew in order to find dresses. There are a lot of catalogs now where you can find dresses, and certainly there's some that have quite a lot of beautiful feminine dresses, and I would name one would be Chadwick's. Although they're not good at having some with sleeves on them, you can buy little jackets that go with them. And then there's Blair, and then there's Pueblo Traders, and then there's you can look a lot of this up online. But the other thing is, with a dress, it's one piece. And any one piece, even if it has a pattern on it, is going to make you look longer and skin and slender, more slender. And these designers that came along and said, if you're short, wear something that has a waistband on it and wear something that's only up to the knees. They're wrong, because that's just going to make you look short and fat. So a lot of short people will make the mistake of not dressing long because they've been told that since they're petite, they can't have anything long. They have to wear short stuff. Or even women that are rather chunky or overweight will be told by maybe these advisors that claim to be fashion experts that if they wear something short, or, and it's just ridiculous. You know, I've seen really heavy people that will buy things with stripes going across, which makes your eye seem to broaden you. So if you want to dress tall and thin, it doesn't matter what size you are, then wear one piece. Don't wear two or three pieces that start to gather up thickness at the waist. When you wear a top and a skirt, you've got the hem of your blouse, you've got the all of your foundational garments. Then you have got a double or triple or quadruple layer at the waistband. If you wear a belt on top of that, you've got more. So you're really thickening your waist. Anytime you tie a string around a dress, you're thickening your waist at the waistline. So I'd say leave the waistline alone and let the garment flow in a nice soft way, and keep a dress tends to, it's one piece is what I'm trying to say. Anytime you have two pieces, you're cutting off your figure in half visually. So, but it all depends on how you feel about this and what you want to wear. Of course, I'm not saying that my way is the only way, but this is what I have found to be true. Dresses are just so beautiful and unique because you're not going to have a bunch of stuff in your drawers, like all these tops and all these separates. And then I had a problem when I was really younger deciding, when am I going to wear this kind of thing and this kind of thing. And I found out it's just a lot easier to have dresses for the occasion. They're all in one piece. And you can always add a jacket or a little cardigan with it. The other thing about dresses, especially if you sew, and I'm not saying everybody has to sew, but the enjoyable thing about sewing is the color and the pattern and what it does to your mood and your anticipation of where you're going to wear it. Now, one of the things that I learned about sewing is that if you choose something you like and you're excited about it, you're going to get the project finished a lot faster. And used to be my favorite thing was to, on the weekend, sew a dress that I could wear to church on Sunday, so that I would get at least one dress done per month and have, um, some seasonal clothes that I could go back to the next year. Now, one thing that people say is, well, if you make that dress, and I'll show it online, and they'll say it's so pretty, but doesn't it get dirty in the house? Well, yes, maybe, but that's what they're for. They're to wear and they're to wash. And then when they're all worn out, you can cut them down into aprons and you can use them for many other things. We used to cut up all of our old garments and braid the strips, and turn them into rugs. And then when those rugs are worn out, then you get rid of them. But I don't know what the fear is of getting things dirty. How dirty do you live? Do you live in a tent outside by a muddy river? I don't think so. I think most people live in a fairly decent house, and there's more cleanliness today than ever. And you're not going to keep that dress forever, and you can't take it with you, when you die. So just wear it and enjoy it. And when it's worn out, or if it gets dirty or stained, make another one or get another one. That's what it's all about. Clothes weren't made to last forever. How many of you have formal dresses or prom dresses still hanging in the closet that you only wore once, or maybe you wore it again? So don't worry about that. It's better to have a wash and wear. Now, that's one of the reasons that I use so much cotton. And I do like rayon also, and there are other fabrics that I like, but for sewing, I find cotton the easiest. And I find some of the thinner fabrics harder to get through the machine, and just I'm not as skillful with it, but I love cottons. I love the colors. Um, and when I see the roses, I go ahead and buy them, and I make dresses. The other thing about dresses is, traditionally, every culture has had dresses for women, and that have been fairly long, below the knee, and it goes way back. Even a modern dress dates back to a cultural dress. That's where they came from. It's just, dresses are just so womanly. They just fit the woman so much, and they are feminine feeling, and they make you feel young and lighthearted, depending on the style. Now, for me, when I sew a dress, I try not to have too many pieces in the dress, in the pattern, because if I get a seam here and a seam down here, and I start cutting these parts, it takes longer for me and to sew it, and the enjoyment of sewing is gone once it starts getting to be these tiny little pieces that you have to sew. And it also cuts the figure, and visually, when there's too many lines. So if you want to dress slender and you want to dress long and tall, then I would suggest a dress. Now, you don't have to sew, but you can get online and get some ideas, and you can go and look in a cheaper place to find them. So I just thought I'd give you a few things to think about wearing a dress. And is this biblical? Well, yes, I think caring about clothes is biblical. There is very biblical. And I'm trying to think of the scripture where someone bought 30 pieces, offered 30 pieces of clothing. I think it was whoever was giving a prize to anyone who would fight Goliath. I'm thinking that might have been it. Was offered 30 pieces of clothing to slay this giant. I could be wrong. It could have been something else. I don't have time to go look it up. And I'm just speaking ad lib. I don't like script, and I don't memorize what I'm going to say. So if I'm wrong about that, let me know. And anyway, you choose the, the attitude you're going to have to begin your homemaking, which to me is, the home is a sacred place. And to me, you need to choose the attitude that you're going to have that way. And in a way, that is the mood. You're going to choose the mood you're going to be in. And your dress helps you so much. So what do you feel like today? You feel like roses? Do you want a bouquet of daisies? Do you want a red carpet? Something red? Um, of course, I can just hear all the all detractors saying, Lydia said to go wear a red carpet. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about mood and feeling and color and print. Now, you can choose to get up and wear the worst clothes you have and not care about it. But if you've got little children, they're going to see what you're wearing. They're going to care about it. And you do develop their taste in a way by what you wear. You are having an impact on your family. And so let's dress up for the home. And that's why I choose cotton, because it's not formal and it will wear out. And you won't have a formal in your closet forever. Until I see you again, have a lovely day. Thanks for everything you do for me. Thanks for your prayers. And God bless you. Bye.